jiu-jitsu or whatever other sport that requires you to get into a specific weight class to compete, this video is for you. Especially I gathered all the knowledge that I had from my weight cuts, my personal weight cuts for judo, and I've condensed it into this video. This video is especially for you if you are tired of killing yourself to make weight by dehydrating and starving yourself. If you are a male grappler, especially, that needs to cut less than 5% body weight, so around 3 to 5 kilograms, and if you are 18 years old or older. I'm saying 18 years old or older because even though this could be made safely, it still has some risks. And so be very careful with how you implement this information, especially if you're young, if you're still in age development, because reducing highly your caloric intake or dehydrating yourself could absolutely harm your health. So don't do this if you're under 18 years old. So let's begin, and I'm going to tell you my story. I've done my real first weight cut in October of 2021. I remember that after COVID ended, I wanted to get back into competition, and the first competition that was inside was a team competition with different weight classes. And there was only the 66 weight class and the 81 weight class that was closer to me. I was 71 at the time, and in order to make the team, I needed to either bulk to 81 or get down to 66, because I didn't want to compete at 81 with people who were much heavier than me. And also at the time, David Goggins went viral, and so I saw his story about how he went from this fat guy, and he dropped like the 30 kilograms in order to get into the Navy SEAL training. So I got really inspired by his story, and I did something very similar. So this is what I looked like around in May of 2021, and I looked kind of the same in September of 2021. I was, not in great shape. I was kind of lean, but I still had some excess body fat on me. Here I was around 71, 72 kilograms, something like that. And I started to cut weight in the end of September of 2021. And after 1 month where I've done everything wrong in that month, because I was eating around 1,300 calories. I was basically moving all the time with my bike, and I was running. I was running and moving with my bike a lot. I was waking up, I eat basically nothing, went to university with my bike, get back from university with my bike, to use my bike to go to my judo training, and when I wasn't training judo, I was going to running. So I've done a shit ton of cardio in order to lose as much weight as possible. I felt a lot of hunger, I felt very bad, my hormones, all messed up, and also my dick wasn't working, okay guys, I did it very wrong. I was so underfed, I was in this great caloric deficit that my dick wasn't working, and I had cold, I was freezing cold for me all the time. It was a very bad situation. By the way, long story short, this is what I looked like at the end of that weight cut. This was me before the competition in October of 2021. You can see that I look like a heroin addict, very bad shape. I don't look like an athlete at all. I look like an underfed poor guy. And I honestly don't even remember how the competition went. I remember that I came back home, I take like 1 kilo of ice cream and I eat it all because I was so hungry. I remember that I ordered a giant pizza and I eat that dinner, and I felt so sick for how much I've eaten then that I needed to puke. I felt the need to puke. So it was very bad. This is what I'm telling you about weight cut. Why it's dangerous not only for your body, it's dangerous also for your psyche. It can mess you up in very different ways. So what I want to tell you is that you need to do weight cuts only if you are already pretty lean, okay? Because weight cut is different from losing fat. Losing fat is about doing a caloric deficit, which means eating less than what you're expending on a daily basis so that you're going to lose fat and get leaner. Well, today I'm going to talk about cutting weight, which means depleting yourself of water so that you are going to look lighter on the scale. I want you to understand that these are two very different things. Losing fat is good for your performance in judo if you have excess body fat, because you are going to have much more cardio, you will look also better. This is also a factor, not for judo specifically, but your personal life, and it could be very beneficial, but this is not the topic of today's video. We are not going to talk about caloric deficit. We are not going to talk about losing fat. If you need to lose fat, if you have more than 15% of body fat, you need to go on a calorie deficit diet first. Don't think about weight cutting for the moment. How can you say that you are more or less the 15% body fat? Well, look yourself in the mirror. If you can see your abs, if you have visible abs, then you're likely under 15% of body fat. So if you have visible abs, if you are already pretty lean and you need to sweat in order to get into your weight class, this video is for you. And now I'm going to share actually how the techniques that I use to deplete water from my body in order to appear lighter on the scale. And I was doing this stuff in the week before the fight, before the competition. But you can apply that also to if you're a grappler, if you're a wrestler, for example, if you're a Brazilian jiu-jitsuka, if you are, I don't know how you can say jiu-jitsuka, but if you do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, if you're a judoka, if you're a fighter, you can apply all of that to your specific situation. The first technique that I want to discuss is water loading. What water loading means is you're going to drink a lot of water in the days before the weigh-in, and one day before the weigh-in, you're going to stop drinking water. What is the rationale of this methodology? There is a hormone in your body called the antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Let's call it simply the anti-piss hormone. What this hormone does is basically keep the water inside of your body. You stop pissing, basically. When you have an excessive amount of water inside of your body, the ADH gets suppressed. It means that you are going to have less ADH in your body, which means that you're going to piss more. So you're going to trick your body into pissing out a lot of water and getting lighter near the competition. This is very easy because it doesn't require you to do a lot of fatigue, it doesn't require you to witness a lot of hunger. It simply requires you to drink 6 to 7 liters of water a day, every day. Couple of tips. It depends on your body weight. So my advice would be to drink around 800 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight. So in my case, I'm 73 kilos. It would be around 5 to 6 liters of water, okay? 5 to 6 to 7 liters of water. And you do that every day, as you see in the graph here. But the day before the weigh-in, you drink just 1 liter. You're going to drink much less the day before, okay? So you're going to drink like 6 liter on the 5 days before, 6 liter on the 4 days before, 3, 2, 1, and on the day before the weigh-in, you will stop basically drinking. All right, this will suppress the ADH hormone. You're going to piss a lot. You're going to the bathroom around. I've gone to the bathroom like 7 times in a day, something even more, even more times in a day. And you're going to piss a lot, but it's pretty safe. It doesn't require you that much effort. Be careful about 2 things. The first thing is about not drinking all the 6 liters in just one sitting, because this could be very, very dangerous. You could experience hyponatremia. Hyponatremia is a condition where the salts in your body are so diluted for the amount of water that you drank that you risk death. Basically, it's unlikely that you're going to hit that, because drinking 6 liters of water in a small sitting, it's very hard, but it could happen to you. I remember that one time I drank a lot of water in, I believe it was 3 or 4 liters in around 1 hour, and it's like feeling drunk, but worse and much less fun. Absolutely not recommended. Do not drink too much water in just one sitting. Try to drink a glass of water 1 hour every day. Do it in the largest time frame that you can, okay? Also, another thing that you should pay attention is you are going to see an increase in your body weight during the week before the competition. Do not panic about it. This is perfectly normal. Your body is storing more water than usual. But all of this will come down to the last day before the weigh-in. So if you're seeing, let's say you need to go into the 66 kilogram, you are, let's say, 69 at the beginning of the week, and you are 69 and 7 at the third day of water loading. And you might panic and say, oh shit, I'm increasing my body weight, I need to... It's all perfectly normal, okay? It's perfectly normal. All that body weight will naturally go down, especially if you apply all the other techniques that I'm going to explain to you later in that video. The second technique would be salt manipulation. As I said before, for ADH hormone and water, the more salt you have in your body, the more water your body will retain. So if you reduce the amount of salt that you have inside of your body before the weigh-in, I mean in the 2 to 3 days before the weigh-in, you are going to piss more. You're going to release a lot more water out of your body. So my advice would be to reduce salty foods or stop seasoning your food with salt. I know it will suck, won't taste good, I know, but you're a fighter, you're a grappler, you know what suffering means, so shut the fuck up and stop seasoning your food. There is much harder and worse things in the world than seasoning your food. And by the way, there are a lot of different salt-free seasoning out there that you can use, okay? You can use pepper, you can use paprika, you can use curry, you can use all the spices that you would like if they don't contain salt. So pay attention to that. Reduce salty foods like ham, cheese, processed meats, canned foods. These are bad. If you're eating carbs, do not salt them that much. Do not drink soy. This is soy sauce. This is very important. Avoid everything that is salty. Avoid salt like the plague. This is also help you to drop 1% of your body weight. Water loading alone will let you piss away 1%, 1 to 2% of your body weight. Salt manipulation will give you around 1% of your body, from my personal experience. So avoid salty foods before the day before the weigh-in. Then, after salt manipulation, we have fiber manipulation. What is fiber? Fiber is basically what makes your poop consistent, to make it very, very simple and not going to overcomplicate all of this stuff, is what makes your poop very, very consistent, what makes you poop well. And fiber is contained especially in fruits and veggies. So my advice would be to avoid fruits, veggies, the 2 to 3 days before the weigh-in. Remember, this is not forever. I'm not telling you do not eat foods, eat fruits and veggies. I'm not saying to you that. I'm saying limit the amount of fruit and veggies that you're eating 2 to 3 days before your weigh-in, because the fiber will be retained inside of your gut, and fiber will also retain water, and fiber will also retain your poop, which will make you appear heavier. So avoid fruit and veggies 2 to 3 days before the weigh-in, and be careful to not eat fiber after the weigh-in. After that you have done the weigh-in, do not eat apples or whatever kind of fruit, whatever kind of vegetables, because you can have some gut discomfort. But I'm going to talk about what to eat after the weigh-in later in that video. So avoid fiber before 2 to 3 days before the weigh-in in order to reduce the amount of water that you are going to retain. The fourth technique is carb depletion. So I do not really suggest to do carb depletion, because carbs is the main energy source that your body runs on, especially if you're doing grappling, especially if you're doing a very high intensity sport. Avoiding eating carbs, it's not the wisest choice that you can make, because you are going to perform worse. You're going to objectively perform worse. But if you need to cut that excessive weight, if you're more closer to the 5% of what you need to deplete, carb manipulation is a very good technique, because 1 kilo, 1 and a half will go away like nothing. It will be very easy to drop that last 1 to 2 kilograms. The problem is that you are going to have much less energy from the fight. So my advice would be, in the 2 or 3 days before the weigh-in, eat 70% of your normal carb intake, and avoid especially things like rice, pasta, potatoes which are also rich in fiber, so avoid that food at all cost. And the day before, eat 30 to 50% of your normal carb intake if you are tracking your nutrition. If you're not tracking your nutrition, my advice would be eat only carbs when prior to training. Eat only carbs like honey, like chocolate, what you can do, canned jam is also pretty good to give you energy. So try to reduce the carb intake, because carbs will also retain water. I believe that 1 gram of carb keep 4 molecules of water, something like that. I don't have a degree in nutrition, all right? This is stuff that I've just researched on my own and things that I've come up with, so don't quote me on that. But I believe that around 1 gram of carb keep 4 grams of water. I'm not sure about it, I need to check it, but carbs retain a lot of water. If you reduce the amount of carbs that you eat before the competition, you're going to drop a lot of water weight. But you be careful, because you might end up with very, very low energy. The 5th and last technique that I've used was sweating a lot the day before. About sweating the day before, I would advise you to do a very, very light training, okay? Go for a walk. Go for a walk with a sweatsuit. Go on a walk with a jacket, a heavy jacket that makes you feel hot. Do a sauna if you have the ability, but do not do something very high intensity. Do not do some crazy tabatas, or don't do some crazy hyper training when you are doing uchikomi still. This is not the idea. If you want to get the idea of what sweating the day before a weigh-in looks like, go see the video of Leon Edwards doing weight cut, and he's just having fun with his friends. He's throwing a med ball while he's wearing a sweatsuit. He's throwing a med ball, he's playing soccer, I believe. He's just having fun, and he's sweating a lot. It should be something very, very light. Do not deplete yourself of energy the day before your weigh-in. So I put here, as you can see, a table which kind of synthesizes all the methods that I used in order to drop 3 kilos before my competition, when I used to compete in the 66 weight class. I want to be honest with you, I do not compete in the 66 weight class anymore, because I wasn't able to make the weight. I experienced a lot of binge eating episode. I experienced a lot of bad relationship with food. I experienced a lot of distress from keeping the weight for a long period of time. If you also throw together all the things that life throws at you. Okay, I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional judoka, unfortunately. So I need to take care also of other stuff out of my nutrition, out of my training. So make your right consideration. And if you need to drop the weight, these are the safest methods. So water loading, absolutely. Salt manipulation, absolutely. Fiber manipulation, this is pretty easy. All of this is easy and pretty safe stuff. I would avoid carb depletion, and I would be careful with sweating the day before. So this is this table. If you find that content useful, please let me know that in the comments. Support me, make me question. I would be very curious about what people that see this channel might want to look for me. So this was just a very brief video. There would be much more to talk about weight cutting before a competition, but I hope that this could at least have some value given to you. If you have any more questions about weight cutting, nutrition, or strength and conditioning, also rehab from judo, I'm a physical therapist. I'm a physical therapist and I'm a judo black belt. I've done this shit for 15 years. Judo, physical therapy. I just turned a physical therapist, but I've done this thing for a long period of time. I've done a lot of mistakes and I've experienced a lot of pain. You can message me in the description. You can book a one-on-one call with me. I would be happy to help you and maybe make you experience less pain than the one that I faced into my martial art journey. The video is over. Thank you for watching. Aim upward as always.